Hey everyone! So today we're gonna wait for everybody to gather, but today we're gonna talk all about conflict avoidance in shadow work and how that is a shadow aspect of you. So let's wait a little bit for some people. Hey everyone! So excited everyone's joining! So exciting. So this kicks off day 2 of our shadow work mini series with Lindsay of R&R. And yesterday she talked a little bit about what shadow work is. So I just kind of want to go through a little bit of what shadow work is, just to recap. And shadow work, in my own definition, is really integrating the disowned parts of yourself and befriending those suppressed and repressed emotions that we don't really have an opportunity to display sometimes. I really like to think of shadow work as kind of putting things in a bag when we were younger, in a way that we have to always look a certain way or present ourselves in a certain way, right? If your mom said something and you weren't allowed to act out, so on and so forth, right? Those continue to be a part of our shadow aspects. Those are the disowned or the hidden parts of us. So just want to recap on that. And we both thought that would be a great idea. Hi, Christina. Hi, everyone. Hey, Lindsay. We thought it would be a great idea to talk about conflict avoidance. So people pleasing, behaviors that are not really something you enjoy doing or saying or being, right? And I want to talk a lot about how people pleasing is a huge behavior where we are not being fully ourselves. We are doing things out of our own alignment. Avoiding those hard conversations, being uncomfortable, being in confrontation. Those are all big shadow aspects of us. Another examples are just avoiding confrontation, not speaking your truth in full honesty, and always holding back. So when we are moving through shadow work and we are doing the integration, we need to understand that conflict avoidance is huge in a place where we need to look inward. It's an opportunity for us to ask, why are we not speaking our truth here? Why are we representing a behavior or a thought or an action that is actually not feeling good inside of us, right? So when we talk about conflict avoidance, we need to kind of think about it in a way of creating this preconditioning that we've had when we were younger. It all stems from childhood. I'm not going to get super in depth about that, but I just want you all to understand that all of these behaviors, these programmings, this conditioning was all when we were younger in our childhood, and we've kind of adopted those truths to really allow us to see our life through a specific lens. Therefore, we kind of filter what we say or what we don't say. So when we can kind of get a good understanding of why we think the way that we do and why we behave the way that we do, we can have a deeper understanding of our people-pleasing tendencies, or when we are faced in uncomfortable situations and we don't allow ourselves to speak up. And from that, it's important to understand that when you avoid conflict, you are actually doing a disservice to yourself. You are not honoring your truth. You know, we're all here to show up for authenticity. You all signed up for this shadow work challenge to understand yourselves at a deeper level. So when you are actually avoiding conflict, avoiding those hard conversations, or you're doing things that don't feel good to you, right? You are actually going against your true self. And you are allowing somebody else to take the driver's seat of your life. And you are allowing other people to speak for you when you don't speak yourself. And this is something I work really heavily on. And it's important to understand what you are actually doing, because you not doing anything, you think that you're just kind of sitting back and allowing things to happen, when really you're actually giving yourself the permission to not take control of your life. So in order for us to understand and integrate shadow work, we have to be really transparent of where we are with our behaviors and our thoughts and our actions. I always feel that I keep quiet, I won't hurt my feelings. Exactly, you keep hurting yourself. That's a perfect way to say that, is that shadow work or conflict avoidance is actually hurting yourself. You're muting your truth. We want to remove that. We want to feel content. We want to feel honest, and we want to feel that we are confident in what we are saying and the feelings behind that. And speaking our truth allows us to do that. So we want to talk about reframing, right? So I love this question, because when it comes to conflict avoidance, when it comes to these behaviors, all these different things, we want to understand why we're doing it, right? That is the whole purpose of doing this work, is not to just heal it, put a Band-Aid on it. We want to understand it deeper. We want to understand our psyche, our ego, everything that is combined that creates these beliefs, these truths, right? So when we talk about reframing, we want to ask ourselves questions of, where is this thought coming from? We want to get really clear, what are we fearing from speaking our truth? Are we fearing that this person we're speaking our truth to is going to leave us, is going to abandon us? Is this coming from father and mother wounds? Tracing it all the way back, right? We fear usually not speaking our truth or avoiding conflict because of the negative outcome that we already replay in our heads. So when we can get really clear of where this is coming from, is this a truth? And going back to what Heddle said, is that, am I actually doing myself a disservice? Am I hurting myself by not speaking my truth, by holding this in, by continue to people please, by not raising my hand at work at a promotional meeting because I'm afraid that I'm going to be wrong or looked at or judged, right? There's all these different aspects, all these different stories that we play. But in truth, you are the one that is actually writing those, and it's not the truth. So when we can get a really good understanding of why we are holding back, is this a valid reason? What is the truth behind this? Even replaying or playing out the thought in your head of, what is going to happen when I do say this? How is this person going to respond? I love to play a game where, if I'm kind of in a toss-up of figuring out if I should have this hard conversation with my partner or a friend, or just speaking out in a work setting, I always like to play out, like, what would be the worst case scenario? What would be the best? And when you can actually put your emotions through that, your body, and you start to act and respond in those ways, you realize that it's actually not that hard for you to go through that. And it's a lot of the times our ego over exaggerates things because it wants to protect us. So what I'm saying is that, can you see the lesson or the guidance by speaking your truth? Can you understand the validation of you holding it back? Can you understand the reason why that this is actually going to hold you back instead of propel you forward by you not speaking at all? So once we can understand the why behind we don't want to speak our truth, or we want to continue having these people-pleasing tendencies or doing things for others, we want to start to integrate that. So integration and alleviation, we're going to go way more into tomorrow, but integrating the conflict avoidance in the perspective of understanding that you are the one that's creating these thoughts, that are creating truths, that are creating this belief, this place where you're feeling stuck to speak your truth. And once you can get into a place of understanding that you are creating this perception, you are creating this outcome in your head, you are holding yourself back from speaking your honest truth and your feelings, that's when you can start actually speaking your truth without a filter, in a way of not caring what other people are going to have to say, in the regards that you can speak your truth no matter what, and that when we can start taking a look deeper in of why we are holding ourselves back, we can start integrating and understanding and giving ourselves compassion towards that. And also understanding that when we do play out, oh, this person's going to be upset, oh, this person is going to lash out, whatever, right? That's their truth and perception of you. They created that. That doesn't mean that's the truth. So when we can get deeper into this understanding that you have full permission to speak your honesty, and you have the driver's seat, the driver's wheel of your life to stop avoiding conflict, stop avoiding those hard conversations, because all it's doing is holding you back from living the life you want to live and really understanding who you are as a person deep down. So that is a really good sum up of conflict avoidance, and I hope that was really helpful and insightful for anybody who is dealing with those type of issues and people-pleasing tendencies and behaviors. And I really want to close out this session with just a little mini meditation, just a couple minutes just to close your eyes. And I want to ask you guys a couple questions if you're still feeling a little uncomfortable with your emotions, with your feelings, with vulnerability, with conflict in general. This will give you a lot of clarity. And again, these are all going to be journal prompts that are going to be attached to the replay, and that you guys will get an email for. But I just want us all to take a really deep breath in through the nose, fill the belly, and exhale. And just shut your eyes if you haven't already. And I want you to take a moment to really sink into the feelings of holding back, of not speaking your truth. And I want to ask you, what emotions do you try to avoid? Is that anger? Is that sadness? Is that jealousy? What makes you feel so afraid of feeling those emotions? I want you to take a couple seconds here. Just really sink into that. What are you afraid of? What emotions are keeping you stuck? Why are you afraid? And next, I want you to think back on your last argument or fight. Did you actively try to see the other person's perspective? Would there have been a way to be more compassionate with the other person and yourself? Did you enjoy the way that you handled yourself, or were you happy with that? Did you say things that you didn't mean? Really sink into that. This is a really best way to sink into the opportunity of looking into those shadow aspects, looking into those repressed or suppressed emotions, or those reactions you had without even thinking and regretting that. There's a reason why you said those things. So really sinking into that. Yeah, getting angry. And my last question to you is to think back to a time when a person triggered you. Can you see how that person's aspects of that trigger are also in you? So if you, for example, live with a roommate, a partner, and they're passively not doing the dishes, and you're like, what the fuck? Why are you not doing your dishes? But you don't feel confident enough, and you're afraid to just make a big deal out of it, right? Sink into those situations, because this is a really important aspect of when these aspects are within you in this way. Right? You see, shadow work has a very interesting way on reflecting back to us. It's our mirror. Everything that we're upset about, everything that we tend to get so ticked off at, are actually parts of ourselves that are within us. So by you being passive aggressive and not speaking up, so is your roommate, right? So you're actually reflecting back that that is okay to do. So after these questions, and you're kind of marinating over these, thinking of some situations, emotions, maybe you're getting upset over these, right? That's okay. These questions are meant to give you that insight, to look deeper within, to know that there are some things that need to be healed and reflected on. So as we close out, I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose and deep exhale through the mouth. Amazing. So, as we can tell, conflict avoidance is huge in a big part of our shadow aspects, our triggers, our behaviors, our thoughts, our reactions, our no actions, right? Daisy just mentioning, she speaks up more and confronts the conflict directly with the person. Yeah, and sometimes that takes a lot of courage to do. So through our shadow work, homework, and our replays and journal prompts, you're going to have that opportunity to go deeper inward with your own practice, understand that these are actually playing a role in more than many ways in your life. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining me today on conflict avoidance. Tomorrow, Lindsay and I are going to be going live talking about integration versus alleviation. So basically, we're going to talk about how to actually heal the problem instead of putting a Band-Aid on it, which is going to be huge. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Yes, you guys are going to get the replays. You guys are going to get the journal prompts. And stay tuned. If you guys have not signed up yet, go to the link in my bio or in Lindsay's and sign up so you guys can get all of the replays and the live schedule for tomorrow. And you guys are going to have such a goody treat coming tomorrow, special announcement. So you guys better be there. And then thank you guys so much for being a part of this. If you guys have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section. I'm going to keep this video on my page. And I'm so excited to be conjoining with Lindsay tomorrow on integration and alleviation, all on shadow work. Thank you guys so much.